Senator MacSharry, and you have 5 minutes.
Very much, Cathaoirleach. Welcome the Minister to the House. I'm glad to have an opportunity to make a few points about this campaign. Certainly, the ambitions of the 1% campaign is something that we'd all agree with. Sadly, the first I heard of it was when this debate was scheduled. And I'm somebody who's regularly online, somebody who's regularly reading the papers and so on. I'm clearly not sufficiently well read, perhaps, but if I'm here admitting the first I heard of it was when this debate is scheduled, clearly I think we need to raise its profile, and for that reason, let's celebrate the fact that we're holding the debate. I hope the other houses to debate similar too, and indeed we all use the opportunities that we have through media and otherwise to promote it. It's been said already, and I'm sure everybody will, mention the fact that, Irish people are world renowned for contributing. I know, as Senator Landy has said, perhaps more renowned when there's a world or a global crisis, an international crisis, some major event where lives are lost and money is needed, that per capita we're bigger contributors than anywhere else. And of course the point is well made that, 89% of Irish adults give to a charity compared to 58% in the UK, 40% in Germany. But it's again Senator Landy and indeed I'm sure Senator O'Murray mentioned that at 0.1% of profits, the top 500 companies here in Ireland clearly could do a lot more. My experience coming from that sector is that it's not that these companies aren't putting a budget together for philanthropy each year. They are. It's X. It might be something that taken in, individually. A company like United Drug, for example, might give 100,000 annually to philanthropic and charitable organisations. But a lot of them have basic rules then. Everybody gets €200. I don't know that such an approach has the kind of penetrative impact it could have if we were, say, the 1% campaign were to say, look, these are the areas we need to focus on. I know we're focusing heavily on the arts. I'll talk about that in a moment. But if we had, I suppose, a government-guided approach to say, look, these are the issues that we want to try and put, whether it's 800 million into on an annual basis. Here's what we would like people, the menu of things we would like people to support. And these are the tangible outcomes we can achieve if we do that. I think it might help to focus minds in the corporate sector to say, look, that's an initiative that we want to help in, that's an initiative that we want to support, and I think that may well be better than, I picture United Drug, I'm sure there are countless companies, the multinationals, the larger publicly quoted companies that are indigenous as well, to say, look, if you're picking X amount, we'd like you to focus it on these areas. I think it would be a better strategic approach than what we were all doing. As members of the Oireachtas, I would say many of us far exceed the 1%. I was doing a quick top myself of some of the organisations I'm involved in and support. It's about 6.5% or 7%, and I'm sure I'm in the lower end in terms of the contributions that are made by members of both houses. So to get everybody up to 1%, even in these difficult times, would be good. But I think we need, in selling it, to highlight the tangible outcomes that can be achieved by that. In terms of the arts, I think consistently governments have been penny wise and pound foolish. It's like, the easy target, it's a drag on us. Oh my God, take a couple of million off those. If I look at the budget this time, 3.1 billion taken off the Sports Council. These are headings that we don't automatically acknowledge as being huge contributors to the revenue of the state and have actually even more greater potential. And I think that we need to look at that. When you look and say, okay, the arts sector, 80,000 jobs, in and around 5 billion in terms of contributing revenue to the state. But what scope has it? I mean, I'd say its scope is in the tens of billions, if targeted correctly. In many ways, for smaller investment, we can get larger returns from the arts. I know it doesn't jump out there as the thing that people can say, look at all the jobs that can create, but it actually can. And I think we should look and think outside the box in that area, that it isn't just Intel, and there might be lower hanging fruit sometimes in the arts sector in terms of the creation of jobs. Also, for example, the idea of sports tourism, which is something I've touched on before. I championed with others the whole Rally Ireland project. Since then we've had the Volvo race, we've had the tall ships and various events like that run very well throughout the country. And that for relatively small investment nationally, the return can be, Rally Ireland, for example, 50 million. Similar figures on the Volvo race. I was talking to somebody in Sligo yesterday who was a proposal and will achieve the hosting of the World Championships in paddleboarding, which might be new sport to most of us here. But that too can bring an infinite amount of people. In fact, his calculations show that it would be worth more to Ireland than the Volvo boat race, for example. So that if we were, Minister, to pick 10 events that we were to target worldwide to bring to Ireland that could be worth 50 million each, that's £500 million in revenue. And every million spent in tourism from such events is equal to 13 jobs. That's quite a few jobs over the course of it. So if we were to, I'm just finishing here, like, if we were to try and give that list of events, the likes of Kyoto or a year in terms of the FLA and so on, and the various events that they can host, I mean, maybe one of those type of events and say, look, if we can reach 800 million, these are the events we suggest people go into. And that's not to take the small amounts that are giving to other very needy charities, but of course they can be the headings as well. That I think, far from just being the right thing to do in terms of being philanthropic and charitable in donating to organisations, it can actually create jobs and create additional revenue streams for the state. So thanks for the opportunity to make a few points. And Minister, please up the ante in terms of raising the profile on this, as I believe we all should do, and I'll certainly try, notwithstanding the fact that yesterday was the first time I heard about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.